Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Shrizvasti with the Deepest Dream YouTube channel. I'll be doing a lot more film and TV spoilers for this YouTube channel. Right now, when you're getting this is a young Werther just spoiler discussion, about 2 to 3 minute talk with José Avelino Gilles Corbett Lourenço. He's the filmmaker behind Young Werther. You should be getting this video 2 to 3 weeks since the movie was released. Now, if you want to get early access on all of the spoilers that I do when I talk to the filmmakers and actors for these TV or film projects, subscribe to my CinemAddicts Patreon. You will get it exactly on the week of its opening or immediately, usually a 1 to 2 week access. But if you don't want to go for the Patreon, the $5 catch-all per month, you'll still get it here on the Deepest Dream YouTube channel 1 or 2 weeks later after the movie or TV project is released. Okay, now let's get to Young Werther. José Avelino Gilles Corbett Lourenço talks about the ending of Young Werther, which is actually different from the Goethe version. In the Goethe version, Werther commits suicide in the Goethe novel. Okay, so that's very tragic. This movie, Young Werther, is a romantic comedy, so as you know, it's not as tragic as the Goethe novel. And I addressed that question to Lorenzo, and he talks about the ending of Young Werther. I really liked it because eventually, what happens at the end? Werther is trying to find Albert, played by Patrick J. Adams. He's trying to tell Albert that his wife, Charlotte, played by Alison Pill, was actually going to have sex with him. And Werther denied that. In a bout of final maturity, he decides to actually tell Albert, hey, whatever you do, I was about to have sex with your wife. She was about to cheat on you, and you would have regretted this. He's telling Albert all this stuff while Werther accidentally shoots himself out in the forest towards the end of the movie because Werther's not good with a gun. So while Werther is bleeding on, I think it's his left leg, and Albert is wrapping the leg with a bandage or some kind of wrap to keep the blood from flowing. Finally, Werther comes to his senses while he's bleeding and spills the beans at Albert. Hey, you've got to be better with your wife. You got to spend quality time with her. If not, there will be other young Werthers that will come into your life and steal her away from you, and you will regret that to the very day. And so what Werther says is basically, you got to spend more time with the people you love. Specifically in this case, Albert needs to spend more time with Charlotte. Okay, so that is the end of Young Werther. And what's cool is towards the end is Werther, who has been talking about writing his own memoirs since the beginning. He's finally lived a little bit of life. He's had some heartbreak. And he goes back home to his family, to his mother, and at their home, in his room, which is a small little room, I guess, he writes his memoirs, which is The Sorrows, I think it's titled The Sorrows of Young Werther, a nod to Goethe, obviously. And then at the end, he travels, you see the end credits. It's Werther sending off a copy of his memoirs to Charlotte, and she's opening the book and she's starting to read it and she's amused by it, but she can't read the whole book or start really seriously reading the book because her husband Albert gives her a kiss and tells her let's get out of here, and they go out for some ice cream, which is a reference to the ice cream date that she and Werther had at sort of the middle of the movie. So ultimately you realize at the end that Albert and Charlotte are in a healthy relationship. Albert is definitely has taken that advice, and is spending quality time with his wife. Meanwhile, Werther is now hopefully a more responsible person. He also loves people. As much as he loves Charlotte, his pretty much day-to-day close friend is his buddy Paul. So towards the end of Young Werther, you have him and Paul going off, traveling to Berlin, sightseeing, and who knows, maybe Werther is promoting his book over there in Berlin. Hopefully his memoirs have hit in that area. So that is the end of Young Werther. Really amusing, cool film that I really enjoyed. In the comments below, tell me what you think of the overall movie in the end, if it worked for you. And then here is José Avelino Gilles Corbett Lourenço talking about the end of Young Werther, and I referenced the movie Casablanca, which, spoiler alert, sort of has a similar ending where even though the protagonist doesn't get the love of his life, he still gets to hang out with his best friend, which I thought was pretty resonant and cool with Young Werther. Anyways, here is Jose. I will try to get as many spoilers as possible and talk to the people who make these movies about the endings of the respective films. So please like and subscribe and be part of this channel and community. All right, take care, guys, and hope you enjoy Young Werther. Jose, I'm going to actually cut this part of the interview and I'm going to
Oh,
leave it for
sure.
our Patreon fans. I'm going to recommend your movie very highly, and then I'll release this to the public several weeks after your movie's released. So,
Okay.
just FYI, I wanted to ask about your decision for the ending of the movie.
Yeah,
Okay, and sometimes, look, Werther, he did you ever think? Because I don't know, in the original novel, does Werther actually commit suicide?
he does. And it's
Was
very abrupt. Very
was
abrupt.
there ever a consideration that side? That's part one, and then part two. Can you just talk about your Casablanca adjacent ending, where sometimes you got to get out of your own skin and your own want, and sometimes going to Berlin or whatever part of the world you want to with a loved one, your best friend, a family member, is really what life is all about. Can you just talk about those two sides of the coin?
I mean, I love that. You're all of your like you're so incredibly perceptive about all of this. This is wonderful. This is like I don't have to tell you a thing. Like you're
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
read on the film is amazing. I love all of it. Yeah, the ending. I mean, the book ends so abruptly. It's like Werther decides he's going to remove himself from their lives to cause Albert and Lottie no more pain, no more sorrow. He's just gonna and he borrows Albert's pistols and he commits suicide under a linden tree. And the book ends, and there's like two paragraphs after that by a previously unheard from narrator who's like, yes, and Werther was dead and gone, and no one went to the funeral. It's just like bleak, like so bleak.
Wow.
Which, is not the tone of this film. Like the film is inspired by the book and is not a beat for beat recreation. But it's, the characters and the narrative that they're inhabiting, it's more about, yeah, connection and growth and shared humanity. And as much as it's a comedy and a tragedy to some extent, I wanted it to feel uh, optimistic about, yeah, about people, about the friendships that you have in life, that uh, you can connect with someone and not have it be this, perfect fairy tale thing. It can be worthwhile and impactful. And this film is not the defining story of Charlotte's life or Werther's life. We talked about this a lot during filming. It's meant to be more like a chapter in the novel of their lives, a chapter from the first third of their lives, something when they're old and gray, they can look back on this wonderful summer when they had this connection with someone where timing didn't work out, but maybe that's for the best because maybe, who knows where Albert and Charlotte are going to be in 10 years? Who knows the adventures that Werther's going to have in the future? Um, it's yeah, I just wanted to end the film on as you said, a more Casablanca-esque thing because this is what life's about. It's about spending time with the people who are closest to you, to your friends, the people you love. Werther loves Paul. Like as much as Werther loves Charlotte, he loves Paul. Paul loves Werther. Like we're they're lucky to have each other, and they're lucky to have had this experience together, and the experience that they're going to have in the future as they cruise around Berlin and come back home and move to different cities and meet other people and all the things that are going to go on in their lives over the next 60, 65 years.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. For more movie and television reviews and interviews, please subscribe to my Deepest Dream channel. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, thanks so much for your support. Take care.